Hi, everybody. I am here with Jim Bender. Jim Bender is one of my secret weapons. I have, as you all know, we have a concierge service, and I try to provide my clients with as much information and as much guidance, uh, behind the scenes across the process of the purchase of a property. Anything that you're trying to do in South Florida. So I am going to introduce Jim, but also I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit more of what's going on behind the scenes, because apparently I just heard a little secret that I wasn't aware of. So Jim, please introduce yourself and give us a little bit more of what you do and what you can do for our clients.
Thank you, Katia. The news is as of this coming Monday, ClearPoint will be joining with Douglas Elliman to become part of the team. We've been working together for many years, as you know, but we're actually, as of this Monday, will become Douglas Elliman entity, and here to make your lives easier. So that's the big news.
I absolutely love that.
And I love it too. I'm waiting for this for quite some time. So
beautiful. And a lot of my clients that are actually listening to this have already had the opportunity to work with you.
yes.
For everybody that it's listening to this, I guess you all know that I am Canadian and I relocated to South Florida. One of the things that we had a very hard time when we moved here was to actually get a loan. Crazy enough, we had sold our house in Canada, and even though we had the funds to purchase a home, we couldn't buy a home. So that was about 12 years ago. Tell us a little bit more of what happens. Do clients that are not from the United States, do they have to have credit in the United States? Are you able to help them? Guide us a little bit about through the process.
So good point. It's interesting because when we started working with Element years ago, we found the need for this because most banks, and we are a bank, most traditional banks don't do foreign nationals. If you don't have credit, you can't get a loan. If you're not a U.S. citizen or don't have a visa, you cannot get a loan. Mm-hmm. So over the years, we've kind of assimilated different products to meet your needs, and that is probably one of our best products because we can do foreign national loans. What that means is a couple things. You do not have to have any type of U.S. credit. Do not have to have a social security number. You can purchase a second home or a investment property in the U.S. through us. We qualify you the same ways that we would qualify U.S. citizens. So for example, you don't have to have a U.S. visa, and let's say you're from Canada, and in Canada, you found this property in South Florida, you love it, and we can do that loan. So typically for something like that, we're looking at 20 to 25% down. We're looking to do the loan either traditionally, and therefore we would require your income taxes in Canada, or we could do it non-traditionally, which means that we can do what's called a non-QM loan, and same for U.S. citizens. And what that means is we can qualify you based upon bank statements. We can qualify you based upon assets. We can even qualify you based on the type of property is, and if it's an income property, we can qualify you just on the income alone, and your down payment. That's it. So we have a lot of alternative ways to offer financing for foreign nationals as well as U.S. citizens, and having dealt in Florida for such a long time, we found it necessary, especially with Douglas Elliman, we found that a good 70 to 80% of the clientele of Douglas Elliman is a non-traditional buyer, which means they own a company, they're a foreign national, they're self-employed, they're not your typical what we would call agency loans, the type of loans you would get from Chase or Bank of America, what you may have heard Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. We do those loans also, of course, but we'll do a lot of alternative financing in regards to that. And going back to foreign national, you don't have to have a credit score. You don't have to have a visa. And so everything that applies to a U.S. citizen, we can do the same for a foreign national. The only difference would be the amount of down payment. We do require a larger down payment, typically 20-25%.
Okay. No, I mean, that's a lot of information that I'm sure people we don't realize all these different things that can be done. And I'm so thankful that I work with you because you're able to guide my clients along the way. Can the foreign nationals purchase property here as their primary residence?
They cannot. You can only purchase a property if you're a foreign national,
Yes.
which means no U.S. credit or no visa, because if you do have a visa, then you qualify as a U.S. citizen, what we call a non-resident alien. So let me back up a little bit. So a lot of foreign nationals think that because they're a foreign national from, we use Canada again, you can qualify as a U.S. citizen if you do have a work visa. So if you have a visa to work here in the United States, what a lot of our clients do, then you can purchase a primary residence. And you would qualify using the same parameters as a U.S. citizen. In other words, 5% down, a little as 5% down, and exactly the same. If you don't have a U.S. visa, or don't have a work visa, and you don't have a credit score, you cannot purchase a primary residence here in the United States. But you can purchase a second home or an investment property.
Or investment property.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Is there a way that you calculate the income for them to qualify? Is there anything that you do differently?
Yeah, again, it goes back to our roots. Working with Element, we've had to grow. As far as when we first started working with Element many years ago, we only did your typical Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loans like you'd find at any bank. Today, we do about 80% non-QM loans, which means we qualify buyers completely different than what you would think as a traditional bank would do. In other words, for example, one of our most popular programs by far is investment purchase, and it's again for U.S. or non-U.S. citizens. And how it works is it's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. What the borrower does is you buy let's say you found a property for $1 million. Let's say that property would rent for, I'm making up, $20,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
If that rental income covers the principal, interest, taxes, and assessments, if any, then automatically, if the borrower's got good credit and that's all they need to get approved for that loan. So in other words, we don't look at their tax returns, we don't look at their bank statements, we don't dig deep. It's very simple. It's probably the easiest loan and most popular loans because people can buy up to 9-10 properties using just the income that they're receiving from their property and that alone.
Wow.
So if you're 1099 self-employed, you don't show a lot of your taxes, you write off a lot of things, this is a great program for something like that. You're typically looking at rates that qualifying you about a 1 point higher than a traditional loan, but for the ease and for the amount of properties you can buy and for the amount of investments you can make, it makes a lot of sense for most people.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful that you have.
Other things we do for qualifying people for income, for example, we do a bank statement program, which again, let's say that you write off a lot of your income, and let's say you're not showing enough income to qualify for that $4 million property that you're looking at, but you really do make enough money to do more than qualify that property. But after your write-offs and after everything else, you don't show enough money to do so. We do what's called a bank statement program, which is basically we look at your last 12 months bank statements and you divide it by 12, add them up, and that number is the number we use to qualify. So let's say you on your taxes, you after your write-offs, you show $100,000 a year. but we look deep in that. We look to say yes, we don't look to say no. So we look at your bank statements, and looking at your bank statements, you might show that you actually put in the bank $100,000 a month. So using our calculations, we would show you is making $1.2 million a year. So exactly. So that's how we would qualify you, by what you put in the bank, not by what you show in returns. That's
Wow.
another way. That's a really popular program because again, because Element clients typically are wealthier, self-employed borrowers who take full advantage of the tax system.
Right. Well, I mean, this is one of the things that, again, some of my clients have been fortunate enough to already met you. So some people that are listening to this already have heard some of these opportunities. And I definitely wanted to bring to people a little bit of that. What about if you're from South America? What about if you are like, that applies as well? Is there a difference in the down payments? Is it similar, what you are introducing to people?
So on our foreign national program, that covers the whole world, not just
Got
Canada,
it?
so forth. There are exclusions. For example, right now, we are not doing any loans from Venezuela, from Russia. There are certain countries that are on the US list of do not do business with, because of current situations, whether it's war, whether it's other things. We follow those guidelines. So there's a handful of countries that we can't do business with, but the majority of the companies, I'd say 85% of the countries out there, we can do the same thing we talked about as in Canada. So whether you're from South America or whether you're from France, that all applies. And we've done loans from as far away as India and Turkey, Morocco. I mean, so it's not just, of course, most of our clients are from South America and from Canada, but some of our clients are from as far away as those places I mentioned.
Okay. Now, let me ask you something. Is there a different kind of loan for somebody that is doing like a construction loan? Is there something like that you also offer?
Yeah, good question. Actually, as of last year, we do offer construction loans of all sorts. As a matter of fact, we're doing quite a few with Element. We do several. So we do construction, we do commercial. We can fund on construction loans, we fund up to $20 million per project. On our commercial loans, we fund up to $750 million. So shopping malls, warehouses, that kind of thing, not a problem. But more or less for the construction money, and especially what we're seeing down here in South Florida, all the building going on, we've adapted to the point where we are doing the acquisition of the land, the construction of the property, and the end loan. And we're typically making a one loan, and we're requiring only 20% down. So with 20% down, you're acquiring the land, you're financing the cost of construction, and then the acquisition and the construction loan after 18 months or less, if so desired, turns into an end loan, which means at that point it turns into a 30-year fix or 15-year arm or whatever the case may be. But it is something that we a lot of clients have been asking about lately. We also finance just the acquisition of land in rare cases where you're not building something on it, but typically with something like that with land and construction, you're looking at 20% down.
Okay. Now that's some of my clients are definitely considering buying land and building as well. So then it's kind of at the beginning, you need to purchase the land. So this is where this comes in place perfectly.
Even with some of your clients, as you know, I mean, it's difficult always to find properties out there right now, and they have no choice but to, if they want to find what they really want, they have to build. So it is definitely an option.
Exactly. No, this is wonderful. And how long does it take for just a residential loan? How long do you think, once my clients provide all the paperwork, what do you think you're looking at? How long?
So typically, when somebody picks a property and earmarks that property and says, and we get executed contract, we're about 15 to 18 days from initial application, from the time we meet till the time we can fund.
Okay.
So it's important for us. That was another thing that it really came into play the last 2 years, because originally it was a little longer, 20, 30 days. Like most banks, I mean, some banks take 60 days right now, but we found that with Element clients, because we were set up to service Element clients, we found that we needed to close within that amount of time, because as you know very well with a lot of your clients, a lot of times when you're making offers, a seller won't even accept something that's over 15 days. I mean, 30
Yeah.
days, forget about it. Financing contingency, no way. So typically, again, we fund as quickly as possible, but I would say more than that, and we could fund in 15 days or even less in some occurrences. It has to be because of guidelines and federal guidelines. We have to take at least 11 days, but we can fund typically within 15 days.
That's incredible. And you know what? I guess if you guys were paying attention to the beginning of my conversation, I said that he was one of my secret weapons. So this is basically what we do. I mean, I have to have that little edge over the other, you know, realtors, or you as clients need to be able to have the team and the support behind that will be able to get you through that finish line. I mentioned not too long ago, I had another conversation with Jay Parker, the CEO of Douglas Elliman. And one of the things that I mentioned is that, again, yesterday, I had to put a backup offer for one of my clients, and I'm currently literally on a bidding war for another property. So the market here is still pretty strong. And we got to have this kind of setup behind where we have the right team to guide you and to provide all those details that you need. Jim, anything else that I missed that you would like to share with people?
No, we've pretty much covered it. I mean, again, if they have any questions, that you can give them my information so they can reach out. But we are here to provide them with a concierge service. I mean, it's our first and foremost goal and our responsibility. We've been directed to get the loans done. So in other words, if you have a client, it's in our best interest, which means it's in your best interest as a client to use us and take advantage of that. Because there's nothing in our box of tools that precludes us from doing a loan. I mean, whether you're self-employed, whether you're employed, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, whether you just got out of school and looking for a loan, whether you're older and retired but have a lot of money and no income. Over the years, we have developed that box of tools to be able to get just about anybody done. So if it can be done, we want to do it.
I love it. Well, again, thank you so much for being in the call. This is not the first one. We are going to continue doing this. This is the first one. We're going to continue doing this, and we're going to provide just all the information that the clients need. So we are here for them. Once again, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
We will certainly be in touch. For anybody that needs his number, it will actually be in this newsletter. So you can connect with him directly, or you can connect with me and we can go through that. But again, thank you so much for everybody. Saying goodbye from South Florida.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.